I guess Americans are excited to see somebody finally stand up to a powerful Russian.
The reaction to Trump's ambush of Zelenskyy in the White House has been absolutely hilarious, as the entire world comes together to say that Trump is getting dog-walked by Putin. Trump and Vance ambush of Zelenskyy has everybody rightfully pissed off, from Conan O'Brien at last night's Oscars, to the national anthem once again getting booed at a WWE event, and skiers in Vermont chasing JD Vance off the mountain as they call him Putin's puppet. Let's dive into the colossal backlash that the Trump administration is facing after stabbing Zelenskyy in the back faster than Brutus. Although Trump is still ranting and raving about how disrespectful Zelenskyy supposedly was, this is the worst statement that could have been made by Zelenskyy, and America will not put up with it for much longer. It is what I was saying, this guy doesn't want there to be peace as long as he has America's backing. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, he's been ranting all weekend. But unless the only media you consume is out of the sludge bucket called Fox News, it was clear that the entire world was disgusted with the way Zelenskyy was treated during his visit to this current White House. What was once a place of honor and distinction was turned into a frat house where Trump and his buddies could gang up on Zelenskyy and try to force him to sign a bad deal. But Zelenskyy has been receiving a flood of support. Look at this hilarious series of thank yous where he tweeted the exact same thing at every single world leader who thanked him and apologized for the way that Trump treated him during the White House visit. Look how many different politicians and leaders around the world came out in support of Ukraine and Zelenskyy and completely condemned Vance and Trump's very emotional outbursts. And it's clear that Trump's actions align the United States with Russia's interests, which is obviously very concerning to a lot of world leaders, especially in Europe. Yesterday, an emergency meeting was held for NATO countries, excluding the United States, but including Zelenskyy, concerning the way Trump is aligning himself with Putin. And they're not just being cautious or speculating that Trump is aligning himself with Putin. Here's Dmitry Peskov, Putin's spokesman, who's hailing the Trump administration for, quote, rapidly changing U.S. foreign policy configurations. Quote, this largely coincides with our vision. Those Trump-Russia collusion fans have never been more vindicated, seeing as Trump is damn near speaking Russian at this point. It's clear to anybody with senses that what Vance and Trump did was set up Zelenskyy to be humiliated at the behest of Putin. Why else would a reporter from TASS, the Russian state news agency, be allowed into the Oval Office during this meeting? Here's Andrew Feinberg from The Independent. Among the handpicked folks that the White House is letting into the Oval Office with Trump and Zelenskyy today is a correspondent from TASS. Now, the White House went on to say that TASS was not on the approved list of media for today's pool. As soon as it came to the attention of press office staff that he was in the Oval, he was escorted out by the press secretary. He is not on the approved list for the press conference. I don't know why they thought this statement made them look better, but they're essentially saying that the Russians snuck one of their assets into the Oval Office during a meeting with Zelenskyy and Trump. That is such a national security risk. At this point, what's the point of even having spies? Now, people are pointing out that this is either a lie to cover their asses about the fact that they let Russian assets into the Oval Office, or incompetence at levels we have somehow yet to see. Here's context from a former White House comm staffer. There are at least 3 separate checkpoints a reporter would have to clear prior to the Oval. So either the press secretary's due diligence is a complete joke, or TASS was approved and this is a sloppy backtrack. And realistically, I agree with this point here, that TASS was approved and now they're just trying to lie and backtrack. But people all over the world can see through the lies, and they're taking it into their own hands to let it be known just how pissed off they are. A private Norwegian oil company, going against the official policy of Norway, refused to refuel a US warship when they requested the regular refuel that the company had provided in the past. The CEO of the company took to Facebook after Trump's ambush and said this: we have today been witnesses to the biggest shit show ever presented live on TV by the current American president and his vice president. Huge credit to the president of Ukraine for restraining himself and for keeping calm even though USA put on a backstabbing TV show. It made us sick, short and sweet. As a result, we have decided to immediately stop as fuel provider to American forces in Norway and their ships calling Norwegian ports. No fuel to Americans. We encourage all Norwegians and Europeans to follow our example. When JD Vance took his family on a skiing vacation in Vermont this weekend, which I don't know why he gets to take a vacation a month into his new job when all he does is tweet, but whatever, people protested like crazy. And this guy even got to tell him to his face.
JD, how does it feel being Putin's puppet?
Meanwhile, during a WWE event in Toronto, the US national anthem was once again booed by Canadians who are no longer going to put up with Trump's antics. Polling shows that the Conservative Party in Canada has absolutely tanked in numbers, while Trudeau's Liberal Party has skyrocketed, showing that Trump's odious and traitorous behavior is unifying Canada against the United States. The boos were so loud, I'm surprised this woman at the Oscars last night, Conan O'Brien, wasn't able to stop himself from poking fun at the United States' newfound allegiance to Mother Russia. After the film Honora, which is about a young woman's relationship to a Russian oligarch who won a lot of Oscars, Conan O'Brien made this joke.
You know, Honora's having a good night. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great news. 2 wins already. I guess Americans are excited to see somebody finally stand up to a powerful Russian.
Let him have it, Conan, because the American people are disgusted with Trump's behavior. And the maggots in MAGA land can squirm and cry about how it's actually good for the United States to ostracize all of our allies. Most Americans realize that isolationist policies aren't exactly good for the future of the United States. As of this recent polling that came out today, more than half of Americans say that the State of the Union is not strong, including 64% of independents, who largely go on to determine which way an election swings. So despite the sycophants at Newsmax and Fox blowing so much hot air up Trump's ass he might fly away, it doesn't seem like the American people are too happy with the direction things are going. Trump keeps this up, and that blue wave in 2026 is gonna hit like a tsunami. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.
I'm gonna say one thing, fuck Trump. It's no longer down with Trump, it's fuck Trump.
Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still, isn't it past your jail time?